What does this tournament in particular mean to you compared to the other times you wore the shirt?
I mean, it's an opportunity to represent Canada, and that's the way I look at it. I don't think you sit here and compare. Every opportunity you get to represent your country, play with this group, just I look at it that way. Grateful for it, and obviously it's a competitive environment here with all the players and countries represented. So, as a hockey player, that's what you want to be in.
Vancouver was your first opportunity to play the best line guys for Canada. Can you tell us maybe what Connor's experiencing, having had to wait as long as he has to play for his country?
I don't know. I mean, he's played, World Juniors and I think World Championships too, hasn't he? Hasn't he played World Championships? So, I think if anything, he's probably just excited. It's been a long time, and he's probably grateful for the opportunity to finally be able to play for Canada in something like this. And he's used to dealing with pressure. He's been in big situations, obviously going back to last year and the run that they had. So, he's had lots of opportunities to play on big stages and handled it pretty well. So I think he's probably just excited to finally be able to do this.
Sidney, if I look at practice today, we're more practicing as a winger and a centerman with Nathan. What's behind it, and how do you feel about it?
Yeah, I think just trying to get better with every practice. Every game. I think I've played the wing and different times over the years, so just getting used to it. But yeah, I think you find a way to contribute and try to do what you need to do in that position as best you can. It's not going to happen overnight, but you just want to get better with it.
Sid, the QMJ show announced that you're going to be looking at your trophy after you. What's that feeling like winning an award and after yourself?
It's kind of a new one for me, but obviously had some great years playing in Rimouski, playing in the Q, and just honored that they would do that. That 2 years was a pretty fun time in my life. So I think just honored.
Sid, it's far from the first time you represent your country at 37 years old. What would be the best advice you can give to the young player of this team?
I think to enjoy it. I mean, obviously being here in Canada, I think you know that there's going to be pressure and a lot of eyes, but you've got to do what has gotten you to this point, what makes you successful, and try to just focus in on what we need to do and on getting better and being a better team every day. So, like I said earlier, a lot of guys have been in this situation, have been in high stakes environments, so it's nothing new for them, but. I think in a short-term event like this, that becomes even more important.
Fans are really excited. Fans are really excited to see you play.
Sorry.
The level of play in the best on the best here. Describe the speed. What else about it?
Yeah, I would just say the speed, the execution. Those are the two biggest things. As far as the details, they don't change. I mean, the details that make you successful. Regular season playoffs are still just as important, when you get to this level. But I think those two things probably stick out the most.
John Cooper just mentioned that you had a lot of doctors heading into the this season. What's the importance you put on your role as a leader on that group? I mean, you sort of see yourself as a player coach type of
I don't know. I think that. Obviously, leading by example. I think being in this situation before, in this environment helps. I think just as far as just making sure that we're calm as a group. But I think a lot of guys in that room are leaders for their teams, and everybody's got to lead in their own way. But I think hopefully my experience can help. But that doesn't hand you anything. Experience is great, but you got to go out there and play and find ways to be successful. So I'll try to provide that, but ultimately we've got to come out there and as a group get better and find ways to win games.
So John Cooper announcing Binnington as your starting goalie. Why do you think he's the right guy for the job?
I mean, you look at any of those guys, I think we'd be confident with anyone, but I think that with Benner, he's a guy who's played in big games. He's played internationally. I think that he's someone who'll be comfortable, in the net, but I think at this point, regardless of what team, you're going to have capable guys, experienced guys, and he fits that mold for sure.
Can I ask you, for a lot of fans, there's nothing more interesting in this tournament than seeing you and David play together. I'm wondering what it means to you to play with him.
Yeah, it's been something that's been talked about for a while and hasn't happened. So I think similar to just playing for Team Canada, that's partly what you think about is the guys you get to play with and learning more about them and getting to know them as teammates and playing with them. Obviously, he's a guy that can dominate the game out there. So that's fun to be a part of, fun to learn from, and hopefully we can do some good here.
Some guys are a little more fiery between the pipes at times. Many teams get that way. Do you notice that at all in dealings with them out there? And what do you think about a goalie that can be like that sometimes? That could hurt teams.
Yeah, definitely. You just got to be yourself. I mean, I think that's the most important thing. But just from practice, he competes really hard. You can see that right away. You don't have success without competing hard, and everybody does it a little differently. But he seems like an emotional guy and fiery, and that's something that a team can feed off of as well. So I think ultimately you got to be yourself.
Sid, you're not a big stats guy, but since you lost to the U.S. in the preliminary round in 2010, Canada's 25-0 with you in the lineup wearing that jersey. How proud of you are that, and what spurs you on whenever you put that jersey on?
I mean, I don't look into that too much. I've been fortunate playing some great teams. I think that's how I would look at it. I think everybody who puts on the Canadian jersey, you're going to get their best, and they're going to give you everything they can, and that's whether it starts, under 18, World Juniors, it's kind of ingrained in you from a young age. So you do whatever you need to do to help the team win. But I look at that more of a reflection of our teams than myself.
What could you say about Team Sweden? What could you say about Team Sweden?
I think like all the teams here, very deep, skilled. I think fast team when you look at their lineup. So be a good challenge for us. Obviously, first game, so both teams will be, feeling each other out a little bit. But whatever team can get to their game, earlier and a little bit better, will obviously be better off. So I think it's just about trying to be prepared as possible and going out there and playing.
You said you're the leader of this team. How do you compose with the other leaders? Like all of your teammates are leaders of your NHL team.
Yeah, I think it's great to have that. You've got a lot of guys in the group that have been in this situation, know how to handle it, ultimately comfortable being themselves and know what works. So, there shouldn't be any doubt or uneasiness there. I think everybody's got a voice. Everybody's game speaks for itself. So it's about getting better and becoming a team as soon as possible.
What do you think? What's the pressure for you trying to have lines come together and have chemistry in a short period of time? You've been through this before, but this is even tighter maybe than in the past. What do you think of that looking like?
Yeah, I think it's part of the challenge of playing in these short-term events. I think that just finding that chemistry and making sure that you're on the same page as far as systems and things like that. So whatever team is able to do that a little bit better is going to have success, and but that's part of the challenge. So I think any way you can fast track that, it's to your advantage.
So what does pressure feel like to you? Is it butterflies? Do you start to feel it before the game? Do you feel any pressure at all? Like how do you handle all that?
Yeah, I think just excitement, anticipation. You said butterflies. I mean, that's another one. It's just something that it's something you have to feel kind of in that moment or in that point of time. But as an athlete or as a hockey player, that's why you play. That's why you put in all the work, is to be in those type of situations, those kind of moments. And when you think about playing for Team Canada, playing against some of the best players in the world, it doesn't get better than that.
Before this tournament, there was a debate in Sweden whether or not Eric Carlson should be on this team. The former coach said he is a defensive liability, should take him out of the team. as a teammate of Eric Carlson, what do you think about that critique against him?
I mean, I think there's always going to be that kind of stuff, no matter, where you're playing. There's a lot of eyes, and I think Carl's been awesome for us. I can only speak for that. I'm not sure what he was talking about or what that was in relation to, but from being his teammate and seeing him play every night, he's been playing some great hockey for us on both sides of the puck, and I can only speak to that.
Okay, one last question for Sidney.
You've been around Brad Marchand for a long time. What are some of the misconceptions of him, and does a tournament like this give an opportunity to show as a hockey player beyond some of the things that there is reputation?
What's the reputation?
Well, because you know,
I mean, I don't think he'd sit here and deny that he's tough to play against and an agitator and all those things, but I mean, that's part of the game, and those guys you love to have on your team and are tough to play against. So, I mean, if we're talking about his reputation, it's probably something that, he wouldn't shy away from or run away from, and, the game's physical, it's intense, and part of that, is playing a certain way that makes it tough on other teams, and he's able to do that. But he's a big game player, and he loves the big stage and big moments. So you can't get enough of those guys.